You know that feeling when you're still showing up for work, still doing your job, you still care about doing a good job, but something inside you is just breaking? Well, we have a new name for that. It's called quiet cracking. Unlike quiet quitting, you still care, but that caring is slowly destroying you. Maybe you're a manager who's noticed someone on your team just seems off. Or maybe you're listening and thinking, holy shit, that's me. Today, we're breaking down what quiet cracking really is, what leaders can do about it, and if this is you, how to fix it before those cracks become breaks. This is fixable, my friends. You just need to know what you're dealing with. Hey, everybody, welcome back. Today, we're going to be talking about something that's happening to so many people right now. It's called quiet cracking. You know, quiet quitting, right? Well, this is going to be different. And honestly, I really think it's actually worse. So, quiet cracking is when it's what happens before you quit. It's when you are still showing up, you're still trying, but something inside you is slowly breaking, literally cracking. You're not fully checked out yet, but you're also not fully yourself. So, here's the thing about quiet cracking. It's you're still engaged, you still care, but you literally are breaking down. The job itself is breaking you down. Where this differs from quiet quitting is basically quiet quitting is when you pretty much have quit in the sense of you're not ever going to try to go above and beyond. You actually don't really care. You're just there to do what you have to do to get the job done. Quiet cracking, you still care. You still want to be there, but maybe it's just more challenging than you remember it being, or it's more challenging than it used to be. So, what does it look like? Maybe it looks like you used to volunteer for projects. Now you don't. You used to want to grab drinks or hang out with your coworkers, and now you really just can't stand to be around those people. You used to be excited for certain elements of your job, and now everything feels like the Sunday scaries, even if it's a Wednesday. You're still performing, you're still meeting deadlines, you're still showing up. You just are feeling really empty about it. It's called cracking for a reason because literally that's what's happening. No different than a building foundation that looks fine on the outside but has these little fractures in the foundation. You look okay, but inside, you're not. And the scary part about this is it's happening to a lot of people. Research is showing us that it's over half of everyone who's showing up in a workplace today is reporting feeling something like this. So if you're thinking, oh my God, that's me, stick around. We're going to talk through what you actually can do because there's things you can do. So we're going to start out by talking to all my leaders out there. This is an important conversation. So whether you're a leader, manager, boss, whatever you call yourself, there is someone on your team who is quietly cracking right now, and you might not even know it. Because you've got a lot going on. Leaders, we have a lot on our shoulders. We're responsible for so much. So I want to come from a place of I'm not judging you. I've led teams. I've had a lot of pressure on my shoulders to execute policies that I didn't agree with, that I knew were quietly killing my team. I've been in your shoes and understand that we are often put into positions where we are not placed in there's not an opportunity where we feel like we can win. But in this instance, there are things we can do that we can own to address some of this. Because again, remember, these individuals still care about their job. They still want to do a good job. They're struggling under the current environment. So, importantly, what is it that I think you can do? What am I telling you you can do to potentially save these people before they feel like they have no other option but to leave? So the first thing I want you to do is, are you really talking to your people? I will be the first to own when I am super stressed, I will unintentionally project that stress out onto others. And if we're honest, a lot of us do that, right? So the more stressed we get, the more tense we become. That shows up in how we engage with our team. So if we're getting a lot of pressure for productivity and those kinds of things, meeting budgets and all the fun stuff that comes with being a leader, how are you talking to your team? Have your conversations switched to just being about projects or deadlines? Because if that's the case, I would encourage you to open up your conversation and talk about a few other things. Genuinely ask them, how are they doing? Are they okay? Have you asked that recently? If not, you might want to try. The other thing I would encourage you to ask is, what's draining you the most at work right now? Not saying you can fix it, but you can't know what could be fixed or should be fixed if you don't ask. So what's draining you right now? If I could change one thing to make your job better, what would it be? And then keep a list. Listen to what your team is telling you. Because believe it or not, there may actually be something in those answers that's something that you can do. And what a difference it would make if you could alleviate just one small thing that is slowly killing your team members. Now, yes, you're going to get a lot of stuff that you can't do things about, but you might be able to do something. So ask the questions. The second thing I would encourage you to do is to recognize good work when you see it. Make sure that we're not in such a rush to get to some end goal that we're not recognizing our team members along the way and doing it in a way that is meaningful to them. And this goes back to really understanding when we get into engagement, what matters to your team? One team member maybe wants to be acknowledged in a team meeting, or maybe get an email. There's ways that are publicly recognized. There could be ways that are privately recognized. Know what matters to your team and make sure you're recognizing the work and the dedication and the effort your team is putting in the smaller milestones. Because it's reminding them you see them in the work that they're doing and in the grind that they are in. The third thing I would do is really look at your team's workload. I have worked in environments where I had leaders and cultures where everything was important. And let's be clear, if everything's important, nothing's important. As a leader, is there a way that you can help your team prioritize their workload so that they're not feeling that pressure of everything has to be done right this second? You can actually help them go in and organize it in such a way that maybe makes it a little more manageable for them. So tossing that out there. The last thing I want to leave you with, because I think it's really important, is as a leader, have an honest moment with yourself. Are you burning your people out by how you are showing up? Sit in that for a second. And again, no judgment. I know I have made team members' lives more stressful when I was more stressed. And is it a proud moment? No. But I didn't do a good job of slowing myself down and saying, who am I in this moment? And am I maybe making this worse? And what I would encourage you to do is to ask yourself that question. Are there things that I am doing that are burning my team members out unintentionally? So I'm looking at my people who, when things get really tense, they become really micromanagey. That's burning your team out. If this is you, call me, email me, we can talk. I think I can help you. But be honest about who you are, how you're showing up, and how that is contributing to the cracks that are forming in your team. Just leaving that there. So sit in that for a moment. It's all right. If you're feeling like, ooh, that stings a little bit, then there's probably some work you can do. And again, what we're looking for here from a leadership perspective are what are the incremental things that we can do to provide a better culture and environment for our teams. Everything I've just said to you is 100% in your control. It has nothing to do with hiring more bodies. It has nothing to do with making promises you can't keep. This is about things you can do to show your team you care and take action when you can. Now, flipping over to the other side. Oh, if you're sitting there thinking, oh, Kim, I'm not just quietly cracking. I am a chasm over here. I feel like my foundation is completely busted. First and foremost, you're not broken. You are not alone. There are so many people right now who feel this way. We are living in an environment, an economic environment where there's a lot of uncertainty. Organizations are feeling a squeeze. And as a result, we are asking people to do a lot more with less. And yes, there's not a lot of job hopping to be done because there's a constriction taking place in our country right now. So you're not alone. But I also want you to know that there are things that you possibly can do too, or things I want you to think about if it's you. So the first thing we are going to talk about is how to start with being really honest. What is actually making you unhappy? What are the things that are driving it? Because if you don't know what actually is making you unhappy, you can't, again, know what the solution is to fix it. If you just know that you're unhappy, then if you go somewhere else, you might still be unhappy because you haven't actually you don't know what the problem is. So let's make sure we know what the problem is. Is it just a rough patch right now? Is it that you've historically loved working in this company with this leader, but right now, because of the constriction, you're unhappy? But know that if things were to change, it would get better. So is it situational or is it chronic? It's a good way to look at it. If possible, I encourage you to talk with someone in your organization. So it may be your leader. Maybe it's somebody you trust, a mentor within your company, a sponsor in your company. But if it's something that is possible to change, let them know. Because they can't fix your problem if they don't know the problem exists. I mean, we just talked about what I want leaders to do. I want them to go have good conversations. But not everybody listens to my podcast. So, we got to give them the benefit of the doubt. Okay? So people can't fix what they don't know is broken. You are probably going to have to initiate and start having some conversations if you feel safe doing so. I encourage you to try that option out. So for instance, what is missing? Is it that you don't feel that you're recognized? Is it that you don't feel that there are appropriate learning opportunities or growth opportunities? Is it that now you're being asked to do two people's jobs? Well, is there a way that you can flex? Like, if they're asking you to do more work, can they help you with maybe creating a more flexible schedule so that you can accommodate whatever the squeeze is that's happening somewhere else in your personal life? You don't know if you don't ask. So get down to the nitty-gritty. What is it? The second thing I would encourage you to do is to think about in your life, where are you saying yes to things when you technically can say no without repercussion? Maybe you're saying yes out of habit. Maybe you're saying yes out of perceived obligation or people pleasing. But where are places that you can say no to things to create more capacity to take care of yourself? Because the third thing we're going to talk about is taking care of yourself. If your bucket is feeling empty, it is you who has to figure out how to fill it. No one's going to fill it for you. The analogy about the airplane, put your mask on first because you can't help anybody if you're not breathing. Same concept here. You have to fill the bucket in some way, shape, or form. And you have to start recognizing what that is. And so I'm not saying go, I can almost hear people, Kim, I barely have time to do what I do now, between work and family. And I hear you. But find one thing every day that fills you up, that brings you energy, brings you some joy, brings you some happiness. If it's hiding out in your closet so that you can, I don't know, binge watch 15 minutes of your favorite TV show. If that's one thing you can do to bring some joy into your life, then that's something. If it's getting up a few minutes early so you can have that cup of coffee in the morning without anybody asking you for something or doing something. Yes, that's taking away from your sleep, but it's also giving you moments to ground yourself before the day gets going. Whatever those things are, whatever it is, find the thing that helps incrementally fill your cup so that you can try to be as good as you can be and feel as fulfilled as you possibly can be. And with all of that, you may come to the answer that leaving is your only option. If you've tried everything and you've hit the point where I just can't, then it's okay. This job just may not be for you. If that is the case, I want you to make sure you're not leaving from a place of desperation and reflection. I want you to reflect before you pull the trigger, because you're going to want a plan about what you're going to do next, particularly in this economy. Have a plan. And secondly, if you don't recognize what it is that drew you to this point, what specifically got you here, this emptiness, this cracking component will follow you where you go. So know what's driving it, be aware of it, so you can make a good decision in your next step. The one thing I want to leave you with, or one of the things I want to leave you with at the end of this, is that quiet cracking is fixable. Remember, people aren't fully checked out yet. They still care. They still want to do well in this job, not just get by. They want to do well. And that's the good news here, is that if we can find some solutions, if we can create good conversation and awareness, that this could be fixable with a few tweaks. If you're a leader, this is your chance to save good people before they walk out. Because we all know that hiring process and finding good the talent you need for the roles you have can be very challenging. If you are a person who is experiencing this on the other end, this is a chance for you to advocate for yourself and position yourself in a way that you can make good choices that help you be in a job where you are fulfilled. Okay? It shouldn't be, I just want to throw this out there, and I know I'm going to get some eye rolls because I would have eye rolled myself at certain points if I were hearing this, but remember these words. The workplace doesn't have to be soul crushing. Work doesn't have to slowly break you down. It takes both sides. It takes leaders, it takes employees to be honest about what's happening, to create that culture where change is possible and we can actually take care of each other in this time, in this setting, in this place. All right, everyone, that's it for today. If this has resonated with you, please share it with somebody who might really want to hear it. If this is you, if you are struggling with this, please reach out to me. I want to talk to you. I would love to figure out how to help you. You're not alone. I just don't want people sitting out there thinking they're alone and there's no option. There are options. There are things you can do. Just, you have to ask for the help. All right, everyone. Until next time, take care, be kind to each other, and I'll see you soon. I've got two things before I let you go. One, if you've ever gotten any value from the show, please leave a 5-star review. It really helps and absolutely makes my day. The second thing is, if you have any thoughts you'd like to share with me, please shoot me an email at podcast@KimberlyJBenoit.com. I'd love to hear from you. All right, see you in the next episode.